Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. I wanted to come in here and do a little short review today. Actually, I sat and I watched a special that they actually had on the cooking channel, which was it was Patti LaBelle's Holiday Pies. I'm a big Patti LaBelle fan, and there's been this whole big thing about Patti LaBelle, and she has these sweet potato pies, and then there was this whole media situation, and it blew up real big, all because of a video that went viral by James Chanel Wright, and he's basically he's a social media sensation, actually is what he is. At this point, is what everybody else is saying he is at this point. I knew that he was actually that before this even happened. So just a little background. Okay, so I'm a big fan of Patti LaBelle and always have been since I was a really, really tiny little boy. I was a fan, we're talking about all the way back to LaBelle, and I loved her music going back to Bluebells, her with the Bluebells and all of that. So I'm a big, big Patti fan. I am absolutely, I've been doing female impersonation since 1992, 93, and I basically began doing impersonation of Patti in 93, late 93, and I've been doing her stuff ever since. So I am a big, big fan of Patti. So, that being said, take a look at this, and yeah, I'm a big, big fan of Patti's. Take a look at this. Okay, so there you have it. I love Patti LaBelle. I've always loved Patti LaBelle. It is what it is. Love her. Okay, now let me tell you about my James Chanel Wright experience. I ran into James Chanel Wright last year in the winter time. It was the winter time of 2015, maybe 2014. It was like, I think late 2014. But I ran into him, and I seen a video that he actually did, and I believe it was actually on Facebook. And I said, who is this guy? He's just so daggone funny. He had done a whole thing about the church. He had this hat on, and he was dressed basically like an old church mother. And he starts singing this here song. And I'm not politically correct. If you've been watching my YouTube channel, I am not politically correct. I crack up and I laugh at things that aren't always supposed to be funny, but it's just funny to me. So he did this video, and in the video he's steadily talking about, anybody at the church that bothers him, he's going to kill their whole family. And that's what he's singing. And the whole song he's singing, let a nigga try me, and I'm going to kill his whole fucking family. And I just thought it was the funniest thing. I watched the video over and over and over. But in the midst of watching the video, I noticed right away that this boy is a singing ass, okay? I clocked that right away. He has an absolutely beautiful singing voice. And even his whole persona, if you guys remember this, he reminds me of David Peaston. David Peaston he's a male singer who was just a phenomenal talent, and he kind of rose to fame really quickly back in the old Showtime at the Apollo days. David Peaston was a flawless singer. That's who James reminds me of. So right away I seen that. Then I saw some other little things he did, because I went looking to see if he was on YouTube, and he did have a little YouTube channel going and everything like that. And I was like, okay, so I subscribed to him way back then. And then he's on Facebook. So I would be just watching to see what he was doing, because he was so entertaining. Then he did this whole thing with I'm in love with the Coco. Now I'm not a big rap music fan, okay? I've said that a million times. I didn't even realize that that was an actual real song. I thought it was something that he had made up. But I listened to that over and over, and I crack it up. He's singing his rendition of this here Coco song. And it was just the funniest stuff to me. So I've been watching, and then I would see he would add clips because I knew he was part of a band and different things like this. Just a talented person. He's just very talented and big personality. Big personality, okay? So that was my James Wright thing. So when the situation with the pies came about, when I seen the video, it didn't shock me that he did the whole video and he's eating the pie and he's screaming, Patty! None of that surprised me about him because this is him. His ass is funny. This is what he does. So I'm, it didn't throw me off. Then everything happened. Boom, it all blew up. Next thing you know, the video's viral. Patty's selling tons of pies. And it was like a media frenzy. It was crazy. So I love that this has happened. I love that he has now been able to meet Patti LaBelle, and he met her. He talked to her over the phone, and his life is changing right before our very eyes. We're watching James Chanel Wright's life change right in front of our eyes. His career is really jumpstart. You can see it. I've seen him on television with Bevy Smith and just different things, and you're just seeing him pop up. This is the way things are supposed to be. There are no accidents in life, okay? So none of this is surprising. I'm happy for everything that's happening for him because, again, he is a funny person. That's a talent in itself. And that voice plays. Anyway, we're going to move on because I can go on and on and on about James and Patty, okay? I find both people very talented and very entertaining, okay, in my regular life every day. Okay, but so together on the cooking channel this week, they did Patti LaBelle's Place, and then it was Patti LaBelle's Holiday Pies. So they did this 30-minute special, which was really a good special. And I usually don't do reviews on specials and stuff. I do a lot of reality shows. But this was just too real to pass up. I enjoyed this special so much, I'm telling y'all. They did 3 different types of pies. The first one that they actually did, first of all, when they show up, James shows up at the house and they let him out of the truck. The thing was filmed at Zori's house. Zori is Patti LaBelle's son. Looks just like Patty. Literally, if you walk past Zori on the street, you would know exactly who he belonged to because he looks exactly like his mama, just like me. I look like my mother too, like that. So it would be the same thing. When you look at him, you would know that that was Patty's son. So it was filmed at Zori's house, and James comes into the house. Him and Patty meet, and that was really good to see. It was nice. It was a nice moment where the two forces locked and they hugged and all of that stuff. That was really nice. And they go into this whole thing and they're teaching us how to do. Well, basically, it's like we're kind of like voyeurs because we're kind of looking in, and she's basically showing him 3 of her recipes. And she did a pastrami brisket pot pie, and it had the Yukon Gold potatoes and green peas, and she showed how she did the roux first with her sauteed onions and all of that, and scallions, and also carrots, and they put it into a bowl, and they did the crust and all of that. So that was really good. I'm definitely going to have to try that, like pot pie. So I'm definitely going to have to try that. They moved on. They did an apple and peach cobbler. And my grandmother actually used to do that. My grandmother did that mix of apple and peach in a cobbler, and she would do one on one side, one on the other, but it was all in one cobbler, so in the middle, it kind of meshes together. Good. But anyway, so I was really anxious to see how Patty actually did it. And and that was the other thing she kept, and that she uses like kosher salt and with her stuff and agave. You know, she'll just splash a splash of agave with her stuff. And she went through the whole preparation of that, of how to actually do the peaches. And it was funny because she actually did saute the apples on the stove, and the peaches, she used canned peaches to actually do this. So that was really interesting. And then she showed how she actually layered her cobbler. So her cobbler had crust on the bottom, crust in the middle, and crust over the top. And she used an egg wash on the top layer of the crust as well. And it went into the oven 3 separate times. 3 separate times. She actually put it in. When she put the dough on the bottom, she did about 5 minutes in the oven. When she did the middle portion, you know, when she did the fruit and then the middle portion, and then did the dough. It went back in the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. And then when she did the top, it went back in the oven, and you basically did about 30 minutes and you were done. And then she also did an orange zest, was something that was strange that I had never seen. And for those of you who don't know what orange zest is, she basically took an orange and just kind of shaved, and not into like peeling shaves, but it was like crunched up the peeling of the orange, and they used that in the topping along with brown sugar and that. And I said, now, that's really interesting because, you know, the shavings from the orange are kind of bitter. You know, bitter and sweet and salt together is always, that's good. So I'm definitely going to try. I'm going to try that actually for Christmas. Christmas is next week. I'm going to try doing that cobbler for Christmas next week. So thank you so much, Miss Patty, with that. Okay, and then naturally, you knew we weren't getting away without being able to see Patty do her sweet potato pie. And she and James actually did the whole sweet potato pie thing, and that was just so interesting to see. He did the mixing and the beating of and mashing of the sweet potatoes, and she showed she used the heavy cream, butter, and agave. Also, she did a crust on the bottom, and she actually did a lattice closing at the top, and made crust and egg wash that, and cinnamon, nutmeg, brown sugar. Also, she used vanilla and almond extract, and it was 350 degrees in the oven and 40 minutes. Really interesting, really interesting. So, and I cook too, so I'm definitely going to try. I'm going to try all these 3 things, but I'm definitely going to try that apple and that peach cobbler for Christmas next week. So, so we did all that. We did those 3 things. Those were 3 great recipes that weren't anything too hard, that I think, you know, anybody could follow the instructions. The way they gave the instructions were really, really good. And it was not just cooking, it was very, very entertaining. Because one, I already told you, James is made for television, and he's a clown. So he cut up so bad. He cut up. When they did, there was one point when they did he was doing grace, basically. Right before they ate, they tasted the pot pie. This fool said, rub-a-dub-dub, thanks for the grub, yay God, and went to eating, and I about fell on the floor. I fell on the floor. I said, did this fool just say, yay God? James, he's made for television. He's just hilarious. And then, like I said, big personality. Child, he come in there, you know, he's really famous for he wears a lot of like dusters and things like that. He wears like flowy clothes. He's really, you know, he's flamboyant, and he's very stage. You know, he's very made for stage. Very interesting. He had on these leopard print pants. I said, boy, you better quit playing. He's just so colorful, and he's just got this big personality. He is just entertaining, and he is made for television. So he is right where he's supposed to be. But anyway, while they're doing all that, they're cutting up. Him and her are going back and forth. Then they had a really touching moment. You know, she told him how much she appreciated him and everything he had done and all that. Of course, you know, Patty done broke into tears. So that was a mess. I said, y'all going to stop this because you know I'm a waterhead. I said, y'all not gonna have me on here. I didn't come on here to watch the pies. I ain't come on here to be crying. But you know that's what happened. I was crying right with them. But anyway, they cut him so bad. They did the whip. They did the nay-nay. They were crip walking. All this in the kitchen while they're cooking. And then he sang, and she was chiming back and forth, and they sang Pieces of Lady Marmalade. They sang It's a New Day. They sang You Are My Friend. They sang If Only You Knew. Then he even did a little gospel interlude in there. That boy's voice, he has a voice that has definitely been gifted by God and shot down here to him, and it was something to see. I enjoyed the special so much. I really did. It was very, very entertaining. It is something that if I ever seen them paired up to be doing something like, I would definitely tune in. I would definitely tune in. It was really, really good special, and I hope to see much more of that. I would love to see the two of them together or separately. I've seen Patti do cooking videos and stuff like that. Whatever James does, I was already following him. I was already a fan before any of this happened, but I believe he has some music that's going to be coming out soon. So you guys take a look out there. Just keep looking. Just keep Googling James Chanel Wright, because there's going to be things that's going to come for the young man. And I'm a fan, and I'll definitely be, purchasing and following and all of that stuff. It was good. And even there were times in the special you could hear the people in the crew actually laugh. That's how bad they were clowning. And every time he tastes something, he's screaming, Patti! And Patty's over there about to choke on the food every time he calls her name. It was fun. It was just fun. I had a ball watching that. That was like the best 30 minutes of my day thus far. I really, really enjoyed it. And I hope to see much more from these two. Absolutely. And that was it. I just wanted to come in and I wanted to talk about that a little bit, and this phenomenal thing that is actually taking place with him and Patti LaBelle over these last couple of months. It's been something else. It's been something else to watch as this has happened. We're literally watching the jump start of a young man's career. I think it's a good thing. A good thing. I enjoyed it, and I love this little special, and I hope to see more. But anyway, that's it. So that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to share that with you guys. Thumbs up, thumbs down. You guys know how to do all that stuff. I will definitely be in touch and let you guys know how my apple and my peach cobbler turn out for Christmas. And I will be in touch, guys. Later. Bye, guys.